Hey there, it's me Red Knight and welcome back to Heyday, and it's time to head on over to the Valley for Tips of the Valley. Now today's focus is all about the Valley fuel, and since Season 1 started it's a good time to let some of you know how to play it a little bit better. Now you end up going on over to the Valley and you'll have the opportunity to get a free spin. Do it. First thing you should be doing every time the Valley starts is heading on over there and spinning that free wheel. Now remember, the clock will reset in so many hours, and that's when the actual sundial goes back to 0 and then you start doing the easy tasks again. So having a look at the sundial, you can see that at the moment I'm on 100 suns to get my next free spin, and there's a variety of tasks that I can do that will give me suns to get those points. Now sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. Tasks will vary. As you can see from looking at the different days, they're not always the same, or maybe they are, depending on the actual tasks you've got to do. Now let's go and focus on doing some of those tasks and getting some of the suns. Now this is my lower level farm. I've only got 2 fishing spots open and there's only 2 spots on my machine, so there are limitations on what I can do. Remember, it starts at level 25, so the higher the level you are, the easier it is in some ways. The lower the level, the more challenging. So you've got to think very carefully about this. I've opened up some spaces. I'm then getting the 8 suns for my actual lures that I'm making. That's nice. That's 16 points towards the total. Now, while I'm here, I might as well do a little bit of fishing as well. So let's go catch a beautiful fish and get myself some more diamonds. Yay, then I can open up more slots and do even more of the lures. Now, going back to the farm again, you'll see that I'm up to 41 of 50 in this case. There's boats there, there's crop tasks as well. Now, crop tasks are relatively easy, and I kind of like them. You can get a lot of crops done the higher the level. The lower the level, again, you're limited. So before you plant any crops within the game, go and check what crops you need to plant within the actual sun section itself. Find out what crops you've got, come back to your farm and then replant those. So try not to do too many tasks before you actually look at the valley, because you don't want to miss out on those opportunities to get those free fuel spins. And crop tasks, especially when you're a higher level, you can get a lot of points very, very quickly. And trust me on that one, I know that because I've done it myself. Now, some of the actual suns that you're aiming for are easy, some are difficult. Some you may want to speed up with diamonds. Now, that's your choice if you want to do that. You don't have to use diamonds. Now, I've got my beautiful 59 farm here. Just like one of my other farms, it needs the actual duck traps. Now, I'm limited by how many traps I can make in a certain amount of time, so I can speed up the production on those actual traps to get more quickly. Or I can just make a load overnight, come back the next day. The more slots you have open, the easier it is. Now, be careful with opening the slots. The diamond quantities for the machines in the fishing area are totally crazy and out of this world, and I wouldn't bother until you're much higher. Feed tasks are again another one to do, relatively easy, but if you've got the helpers activated, do be careful that they are feeding as well, and you may not get the most benefit out of it. So work on the tasks, everybody, and do pay attention. So the key thing is, don't actually do anything till you check what you need within the actual fuel gauge, then come back and do those tasks itself. Okay, right, let's go and check the route out. Now, the route is very, very important indeed, because you need to know where you've got to go. Now, there are a lot of daily tasks there. So my advice for you, by the way, is actually not to do any tasks when you first open the valley. If you want to, go ahead, but I would say no. My tip or recommendation is to build up your fuel first. And I mean that, everybody, because the fuel clock actually resets after a certain amount of time anyway. So if you're actually building up your fuel, you give yourself a wider opportunity for moving around the actual playing a lot more than you would do if you're like using the fuel, going back, using the fuel, going back. It's okay, it's a nice style if that's what you want to do, but I still think it's much, much better to build up the fuel, and then you can start doing the tasks and moving around. Otherwise, you kind of run out quickly, and then maybe you're doing things and then not paying too much attention. So fuel first, everybody. Right, now as I look around here and I'm planning my routes, there are a lot of different choices here. Now, do the maps change? Yes, they do. So at the moment, trial season and season 1, the map will be exactly the same, as you've already found out today, since season 1 has just started. Good luck with the new deco. But season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on, they're not going to be the same. The maps are changing every season, everybody. Now, for these events itself, they're not short events. They could be 15 days, could be 20 days as an example. It's not like the derby, which is do it for a fast amount of time. These ones are designed to be done at a more sedate pace. But then again, you can also play it very energetically as well. You can use your tokens, you can buy a lot of goodies. There are many items to be purchased in season 1 onwards, plus you've got the decoration we're aiming for. But like I said, it's a more sedate style playing, so do build up that fuel. Do plan your route. Now, sometimes when you're doing your route, you may find there are buildings on the way to another building, which is actually a good thing. So if you're going a full distance of, let's say, like 3 buildings worth of distances, and there's 2 buildings on the way there, why not stop by those buildings, thus conserving fuel, and save you having to go backwards and forwards down the same road. You know what it's like when you walk backwards and forwards the same time down a shopping street looking for something. If you just go into each shop as you're moving down the street, then you've done those ones behind you. You don't have to go back. Actually, that depends on who's accompanying with you. Usually with my wife, she wants to go backwards and forwards to different shops. But that's why I kind of like going shopping by myself. One building, next building, next building. But sometimes you can skip the buildings. So you don't have to do all of the buildings. But look at the route. Maybe you want to make a slight detour for 1 fuel, come back again, which costs you 2 fuels, but in the long run it's cheaper. So plan your route very carefully. The more fuel you have, the better, and the distances you can actually go as well. Right, now, as I said, and I've been saying quite a few times, build up the fuel, and I will keep harping on this again and again and again. Seriously, build it up. You'll see here I got 24, everybody. So the main thing you should be doing is like going into the valley, free spin, seeing what suns you need, go and do those tasks, go back, free spin, do it again, go back, free spin. Now every time you see that free spin icon, stop what you are doing. Do not do any more of those tasks. Go do the free spin, then come back and continue the task. If you don't, you will lose the opportunity to get more free spins because you've kind of like done too many to get a free spin in the first place. So stop when you see it, go and get the free spin, do it, then come back and continue with the task. Now, how about fuel amounts? What happens with those? Well, the great thing about fuel amounts is that they vary in quantities. So the suns that you are getting and the canisters that you can get are different as well. So you might start off with a level 20, you can see today's, you can see tomorrow's, there's a certain time where it resets in a specific amount of hours, and when it resets, by the way, that goes all the way back down to 0 and starts again at 20, which is wonderful. But you can see from looking at these imagery here that the quantities are actually going up and up and up. Now, I don't know what the maximum limit is, but you'll see when you go through this imagery that there's quite a lot there. So maybe if you're going to bed, blitz everything you can before you sleep. Then when you wake up in so many hours, like 8 hours, everything is ready for you to start off with a lower level re-spin on the suns again. Now, hopefully this video was helpful. It gave you some good clues. Let's just recap on what I would like you to do. Don't do the task straight away. Build up your fuel. That is the key thing, everybody. And if you see the little fuel respin, go do it first before you actually do any more tasks. That's the essential bit of information I'd like you to take out of this video. Now, I will see you in the next Valley video. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know what you think. And good luck with Season 1. And I hope you all get the decoration. Bye now. Subscribe and hit the bell notification. And love you all.